Bye, folks.
Hi folks, I'm Tina Hui with Follow Coin, and we have with us the CEO of ChangeTip.com.
Hi guys, this is Nick Sullivan. I founded ChangeTip.com. Allows you to send Bitcoin payments over social media. Works on Reddit, GitHub, Twitter, Google+, Yahoo, or YouTube, and a few others.
Wow, it sounds like you guys are super duper busy, and I hear that you also just launched an amazing new product called TipMe, or Tip.me.
Yeah, so the first product appealed to people's generosity, which is a pretty powerful motivator, but Tip.me appeals to people's greed. So, you know, they say that all products are built on one of the seven deadly sins. Tip.me is great because it allows us for people that actively want to solicit tips to put a URL together and have their website, blog, GitHub repo, YouTube comment, any place right now where we're starting to see people add a Bitcoin address to accept donations. We'd love to see them swap that out with Tip.me because we think it provides a better experience for users. If you're logged in with ChangeTip already, you can just give that person an amount. You don't have to sign in or anything. It's a one-click tip. If somebody still comes along and goes to your Tip.me URL and wants to add payment directly with Bitcoin, they can do that as well. So both work.
So well, definitely greed, I guess maybe is one word for it. Or for people like us, for content creators, hey guys, I just signed up for Tip.me. It's Tip.me to follow the coin. We could use all the help that we can get. Since I think content is definitely one of those places where you're going to be providing a lot of value, mostly because these days, if I'm correct, a lot of people want uncensored content, but then if you're going to get sponsorship dollars, it takes away the uncensored, unique honesty of content. So, I mean, what have you found to be the case for content providers and ChangeTip?
Yeah, right. So one of the cases that we're really excited about building out this micropayment infrastructure for the web is the content monetization piece. So we've somewhat lazily accepted that ads have to be the way to monetize content online, and I don't know why. It reminds me of a story where if you look back at why railroad tracks are exactly 42 inches across, somebody dug and dug and dug and found that the reason why actually goes back to that's how wide two horses' asses were. And so we do all of these things oftentimes without really understanding the history, and we just come to accept that that's what they are. With advertising, it's just been there that whole time, but it's a shame because the real value chain is people like yourself producing high-quality content, and then the people consuming the high-quality content on the other side. That's the real value chain that we have with online content. And ads, nobody likes ads. They're the content producers don't like ads, and the people watching would probably rather have an ad-free experience. So this allows for a direct connection to be made such that people can reward artists that they like. The other way to think of it is for sites that do have a paywall, this introduces the idea of a long tail for the paywall, because if you think about the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal has to charge disproportionately for the people that are willing to pay, where if that was spread out micropayment style across everybody, where anybody that chose to view the site could pay, say, 1/100th of a penny or 1/10 of a penny for page views, instead of viewing ads, if you give them that choice. It's real interesting to think about how content can be monetized online.
What have you seen to be the success story for people actually being fortuitous and generous and tipping content creators or tipping for things that they believe in?
You know what? We just launched, so there's not that many yet. But one that I'm a little embarrassed about. I don't know if you saw on Reddit/r/Bitcoin. This girl did this show called Naughty Bits.
Oh, right, yeah, I did see that. Everyone was putting that yesterday.
And I have a feeling she's going to be one of the top TipMe use cases, even though that's not necessarily an area that I support. It is indicative of somebody that's providing value to at least a certain segment of the population, and that segment wants to reward her. So great, it's doing what it's supposed to. I'd like to see some other interesting use cases. GitHub repos. are a great one. Picoin.net. The author, his name is Richard Kiss. He actually works for ChangeCoin. I'm going to talk to him about swapping out that Bitcoin address for a tip.me URL. xkcd.com. I actually want to reach out to him. He's got, if you look at the very bottom in fine print at the bottom of xkcd.com, he's got a Bitcoin address where he's accepting donations. Broadly, anywhere where we see people asking for donations with a Bitcoin address, we want to make it easier for them to do.
Well, we're definitely got a few different options open as well. So, I mean, it is hard to make money doing content. I don't know if anybody else knows how much work goes into it, research, time, editing, and then on top of that, it's just, not too many people are putting money there, although they all want uncensored, great, honest feedback and content. So, very interesting place to be right now.
Real quick, then, your current solution is to have something like Google AdSense or start to put ads on your site, and based on the size of your audience, it might get you some amount of money, but it's certainly not going to pay the bills. So instead, if you can come through and provide a way for your users to reward you directly for the content that they find valuable, I think everybody wins.
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, that would be better. Guys, tip us. We need help. Buy us coffee. But, we're definitely going to be installing your tip.me link on all of the Follow the Coin.
Great. You'll be our first success story.
Thank you. And I mean, it is interesting though, the use case of something like Naughty Bitch, who, she did a great show. It's a different audience, or it's targeted for a different audience. And although everybody knows internet is filled with that sort of not safe for work content, actually is the thing that drives the most money out of tipping mechanisms like this. Do you guys have any policy against nudity or anything like that?
So, I recognize the underlying point that you just made, which is really the internet was built based on porn. It's like a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of the streaming capabilities, porn, a lot of the payment capabilities, porn has pushed all of that forward. Sex sells. I personally don't support it. I've got a 14-year-old daughter, so I've got some moral conflicts there. I'm not willing to enable that industry. We don't have strict rules against it. I don't want our brand associated with that kind of content.
Gotcha. And so what do you see, I mean, how could people kind of learn about it and adopt it? Is it easy? Like, they just want to know the how-tos, the basics. Like, how easy is it for somebody to get set up and then maybe have some support from, I guess, you or I to say, hey, you guys should be on ChangeTip and get money, and you could keep creating good content.
It's nice and easy. So with your ChangeTip account, all you have to do is log in. You'll actually, if you haven't been in before, since we announced this, there's a nice pop-up at the top that comes up and walks you to your settings page where you can create your own custom tip URL. It's created a little bit of a funny race. We've gotten people that somebody was smart enough to grab satoshi-nakamoto.tip.me, and someone grabbed just.tip.me and please.tip.me. So people are actually having a lot of fun with it. I would recommend that you go in and grab your username if you haven't already, so that you're I think we're going to have some fun competition on grabbing the coolest usernames. It's nice and easy. That's all you have to do. And then you have a public profile page for username.tip.me that you can start going around and putting everywhere. There's also a series of snippets for HTML where we give you little buttons that you can have for tip.me. You're free to customize those. Long term, we'll have a more interesting set of buttons and widgets that will do things like support fundraising goals. And so, the tip.me button will actually say, this person has raised X dollars for their breast cancer awareness walk, or whatever charity cause donation that they're pushing for. So that's actually, circling back a little bit, that's where this gets interesting from a better use case perspective, is all of the ideas about making, if we reduce friction around payments low enough that even the stingiest of person just says, oh, okay, no, that's easy, that's a quarter, a nickel, a dollar, or some small dollar amount. Imagine if the Ice Bucket Challenge would have had a convenient payment mechanism over Twitter.
Oh, that's a good point.
More would we have? So the broader goals of all the social network hookups, and then now the other side of the market where people can actively solicit for money that they want, we think is completing the full circle.
I think that would be fantastic to see, especially because there is a lot of good to be, promoted and had. I know when the Red Cross actually goes around and does their text messaging after a natural disaster or disaster relief campaigns, and they say, oh, text us and then it's like $10 and everybody's texting. So it might as well be an ongoing basis where it's not just, oh, a disaster happened and you get to support a cause, but you incrementally can add to the cause together and create a big pool.
Exactly, and the reason why those are happening right now over text messages instead of something like Twitter is the payment gateway hasn't been established up until now. So ChangeTip actually allows for that.
So what gave you the idea for ChangeTip and TipMe?
Okay, so a guy named Nerdfighter Sean on Reddit gets credit for writing the Reddit Bitcoin tip bot, and I saw that and saw the power that it was having on Reddit to reduce friction around payments, and I thought, this is awesome. We need it for the whole world. And then wrote ChangeTip and launched it, and then came back to Sean and said, hey, I don't want to be competition or anything. I actually would like your blessing on this. And he came back and said, no, this is awesome. I'm so glad to see you doing this full time, and I want to help you however I can. In fact, I'm ready to shut off Bitcoin Tip anyway, and so let's move all the users over to you and have this as the better service. So we were really excited about that. Then Tip.me came about when we realized that there were a lot of people that wanted the full circle. So it was actually customer demand that was driving this. Lots of people asked for it, and this is what we wanted to do next.
They always say the best companies listen to their customers. So thank you personally for fulfilling a need even for us here at Follow the Coin. And we actually managed to get both Follow the Coin and Tina Hui as usernames, so that's exciting.
Great.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
We are just about to launch a WordPress plugin as well.
Oh, great.
So, and it's going to use Tip.me behind the scenes. So the idea is that WordPress bloggers that want to make it real easy to start collecting Bitcoin tips on their site, we do that for them.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, I know that WordPress already accepts Bitcoin, but this would be like the next funnel phase.
So that's at the payment side for WordPress.org. This is actually a WordPress plugin, so individual bloggers can install it on their site to receive tips for themselves.
That's fantastic. Actually, we'll be using that as well for Follow the Coin. What is the challenge when it comes to developing technology like this? Is it extremely difficult to overcome some of the payment terminal type API hurdles?
I'm a technologist at heart, so the technology challenge, and I've been doing this for a long time, the technology challenges are pretty easy. The harder part, well, I take that back. Getting YouTube tipping working, that was hard. But we got that one working. The much more interesting challenge has been on both the community side and the growth side. So building features that, making it easy enough for people to collect, making it so that they feel they understand it. We're simultaneous. We're probably more than anybody exposing Bitcoin to people that have never heard of Bitcoin before, and so we have to both educate them on what just happened when they're getting a tip and Bitcoin at the same time. And then their first reaction, of course, is always, "Oh, great! Now can I hook this up to my PayPal account?" Or they want their immediate draw is to how do I convert this to or from traditional currency? So we think it's also a great on-ramp to the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. But that's a challenge for us, just from a user experience perspective, getting all of that right. So that's something that I wouldn't give us a super high score for yet, but we've done better than most, and I'm looking forward to continuing to improve there.
So are you going to eventually accept fiat currencies as well?
I'll leave that one as a big mystery.
Okay. Well, we'll stay tuned about that one.
Okay.
And I guess it's also fascinating to see a lot of different interesting people are in the space. And so what's the most exciting thing that you think would be upcoming soon in terms of like adoption? Like how do you see a mass consumer audience starting to tip each other avidly? I know they do it on Reddit, but not necessarily, anywhere else quite yet.
Yeah, so the Bitcoin ecosystem has, especially from the investment perspective, has rallied behind ChangeTip because they see that in order for their individual infrastructure projects to be successful, they need ChangeTip or something like it to be successful to help drive the mass consumer adoption of Bitcoin. All of the transactions, all of the tips are public. So, when I send you a tip on Twitter, all of your Twitter followers see that, and some percentage of those will click on the link, and so it's great in that it's naturally viral. There's also this other effect where it's a compound viral effect where I get a tip on Twitter, and then I go, oh, this is cool, it works on GitHub as well. So I go over to GitHub, and then so people are spreading it not only within a network, but they're spreading it across networks for us. So we're real excited about being an important part of driving the mass consumer adoption of Bitcoin through both all of the viral networking effects and in the easiest on-ramp to Bitcoin.
Sounds awesome. Can't wait to see how you guys keep evolving. And just out of curiosity, you're always someplace else. I mean, are you in San Francisco at the moment?
Oh, I am in San Francisco, yeah.
Then what is the name of your 14-year-old daughter?
Oh, her name is Anna.
I'm imagining that when she grows up, she's going to be immersed in a world where everybody's mobile tipping and tipping online all the time.
Yeah, well said. So I've learned a little bit to listen to my kids as far as which social platforms to go after next, and Instagram is the one that she keeps saying we should do, and so that's definitely on the list. Not just because she's asking for it, but she's a good proxy to teenage usage. So it's been great.
You have your own little focus group right at home.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for spending some time with us and telling us what you've been up to, and we hope to catch up with you again soon.
Great. Thanks for installing tip.me on your site, and let me know how it goes.
Will do.
Actually, is it there yet?
I just signed up for it. I didn't put it in.
Oh, okay. When you do, send it me. I'll send you your first tip.
Ooh, exciting. We can't wait. We'll make a post all about it.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Bye.